guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Got a big one from Green Day today. We're going to learn how to play Holiday. Now this one is in standard tuning, so no crazy tuning to deal with here. And we're going to play through this, just as I usually do, just kind of in the order that the different riffs happen. It's pretty basic stuff. The opening chords there that I played in the intro, they're a little bit more difficult to play because it requires some pretty good muting. But other than that, we've got mostly simple power chords through most of the song, and a cool little solo too. So let's check it out. So first, I'm just going to kind of roll the volume down to like a 3 here, so I kind of have a little less gain for this intro. And then we have these shapes. That's probably the hardest part of the song. Now, why is it more difficult than the other parts? Well, let's start here at the first chord. This is implying, this is just an F minor chord. They're using just the root note and the third there. So it's really just an interval shape that's implying an F minor chord. But we're going to play the bottom note there on the 5th string, and then the top note there on the 2nd string. So that's the 8th fret on the A string, and then the 9th fret on the B string. Now, all the other strings around it, both in between those two notes and above and below them, need to be muted with your index finger. So you can see my index finger is lightly touching the bottom. It's going past that note that it's holding on the A string and lightly touching the bottom of the 6th string to keep it from ringing out when I strum. And then that index finger is also laying across the D string and the open G. So you only hear that note on the A string, but not the E, and not the D, not the G. You hear the note on the B string, of course, but once again, the index is laying across lightly all the way to the high E, so you don't hear that. So when you hit all 6 strings, you only hear those 2 notes. So it's that index finger that's doing all that. So it's just applying pressure right there at the tip. Use the tip of your finger to touch the bottom of the 6th string. Use the middle of the pad of the finger to hold the actual note, and then the rest of it is not holding down the string. It's kind of just laying on top of the string. All right, so we have that. You're going to do that muting the entire time. So we have this first chord, and then we're going to move it down to the 4th fret, and it's going to be the same string, it's just a little bit different shape. So the 4th fret on the A string, 6th fret on the B string, and it's actually going to be easier to play this note on the B string with your pinky because it makes the muting a little bit easier. The muting is the same. You're muting all the strings that besides this A and the B string. Then you get to take this shape around a little bit without having to move around shapes. You're going to move this up to the 11th fret. So that means your index finger goes to the 11th fret. So that's the 13th fret on the B. And then you're going to take that same shape down to 6. So we're at the 6th fret on the A, 8th fret on the B. And those are the chords. And then you would go back and start over with just your 2nd finger there on the 9th fret. So it's the minor shape, and then these other ones are major shapes. So we have this. So down, 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 up, down, up. All right, so after that, when the full band kicks in, we have a power chord version of that. But the first chord, a lot of times they play as a full minor chord. So it sounds like this. You'll hear that riff twice before the vocals come in. So that is, you can start it as just an F minor chord, F power chord, or a lot of times they play it a full minor chord. So they'll play like this. They'll have the 8th fret on the A, 10th on the D, 10th on the G, and 9th on the B. You don't have to do a bar, just play those 4 strings. And then we go back to a power chord here off the 4th fret of the A string. It's a D flat power chord. Then just take that up 1 string. Now how he usually does it, Billy Joe, he'll play the power chord, like 2-note power chord here on the off the A string, and then when he goes to the 6th string power chord, and this part is going to be an A flat, he makes it a 3-string power chord. So you'll move over to the 4th fret there on the low E, 6th fret on the A, and keep that 6th fret on the D string. So from this chord we have this. And then you're going to move up to the E flat power chord, which is off the 6th fret of the A string. So 6th fret on A, and that pinky is going to play the 8th fret on the D string. Or you can play it with your 3rd finger, whatever. But it's easier to kind of play it with your 3rd when you transition down there. So we have it's easier to play with the pinky, I mean. So we have this all together. All right, then the vocals come in, and then we have the verse riff, which is very similar to this, just with a slight change. Looks like this. All right, so it starts with that same F minor chord, down to that D flat power chord and the A flat power chord, and that E flat, so just like before. But the second time around, we start with the F minor again, D flat, F flat, but instead of going to that E flat power chord, you go to the C power chord, which is at the 3rd fret off the A string. So it's 3rd fret on the A, and you're playing the power chord note above it, which is the 5th fret on the D. So we have this all together so far. All right, then continue. So those are the first 4 that we went through in the verse are the exact same there, the 3rd time through. But then we, instead of starting the riff over, we go right down to the C chord, C power chord. Kind of hold that for a while. So all together. So you do that a couple of times, and then we get to the chorus, which sounds like this. All right, so it's very similar to the verse, just a little bit different lower octave of that F. So we're gonna go start it with this F power chord down off the 1st fret of the low E. So that's 1st fret of the low E, then 3rd on the A and the D. Then back to that D flat power chord we did in the verse, followed by the A flat again, and the E flat power chord. So it's kind of just the same chord progression, just we're starting on the lower F. So we have this. Back to the F, the D flat, the A flat, and once again, we're gonna end on this C power chord. So the second time through, you're gonna go to that C, and that's gonna end it. So we have this all together. All right, so then we go back through the same sections we just covered, and then a little bit later we have the bridge section, a little bit more aggressive sounding section, comes in right before the guitar solo. So it sounds like this. All right, so we're gonna start here with that F power chord down here at the 1st fret. Then move up to that A flat power chord off the 4th fret. Then it starts jumping around pretty quick. We're gonna go to the D flat power chord, remember the 4th fret off the A string. Then jump up to the 6th fret power chord off the low E. So that's a B flat. So that's 6 on the low E, 8 on the A and the D. Then the E flat power chord, that's 6th fret off the A, as we did before. And then jump up here and play the C power chord here off the 8th fret of the low E. So that's gonna be the 8th fret of the low E, 10 on the A and the D. So that quick move is like this. It's always jumping up when it goes across strings. It jumps up 2 frets. Then play the power chord here, and then jump up. So all together. Start over. But here we're going to skip the first 2 little 2 fret jumps, and we're going to go straight to that E. So the second time you're playing through, you do that F to A flat. Then we have the E flat to C and F power chord up top at the 8th fret off the A string. So it's A on the A, 10 on the D. So all together for that whole part. All right, and then you're just going to repeat that again. And then we get to the solo section. So I'm going to teach you the rhythm to the solo first, and then we'll cover the guitar solo itself. So the rhythm guitar part for the solo sounds like this. All right, so that is the D flat power chord to the A flat, so we've done that before, and to that C power chord. Then we have a little bit different move. We go up to the F, so just take this shape up to the 8th fret, 8, 6, and then back down to the D flat, 4th fret. So we have this. D flat, A flat again, and this time just hold that C. And there's that little breakdown section that comes. All right, so let me play the solo itself, and then I'll show you how to play it note for note. So here we go. All right, so we're going to start here at the 6th fret on the B string. Hit that a few times, and then go 8, 9. Then come over to the G string and play 8, 6, 5. So we have this. Then the next phrase is, which is 8 on the B, followed by 5 on the B, and then roll over to the 5th fret on the G string a couple times. So all together. And then you can hold that. And you can play 6 on the B up to 8 on the high E. Play those together and just go between those notes a couple times. You end back down here on the 6 on the B string. So that comes after this. So all together. Then you start over with the melody. So it's just like the first time you played it through, and then we get to the ending, which sounds like this. So that's the, after you get there, you're going to play the 8th fret on the B, then slide into the 8th fret on the high E string, and then slide up to the 12th fret, hold that a while, and resolve it there to the F on the high E. I'll just let it ring. All right, so then we have the breakdown section. Not a lot going on there until the 2-minute and 54-second mark. We have this little exit with the chords, which he basically does the end of the bridge real quick. It sounds like this. kind of builds to the chorus there. So that's just that E flat chord. This is at the 2 minute and 54 second mark. E flat power chord that we did, C, and then the F power chord. And then take it down to the C, hold that a little bit, and do a quick little slide up from B flat to C. So you're going to go down to the first fret, the same chord. It just kind of adds a little inflection to it, I guess. So it's just kind of sliding from 2 frets up into it again. So we have this. And then that takes us back to the same chorus. All right, so at the end of the song, we go back pretty much to the intro riff, but it's played with just the power chord version that we did before, like this. So you can see that different ending there. The 4th time through that, instead of the same intro progression that we did at the beginning right before the vocals come in, the 4th time through, you're going to do that, so the F minor to the D flat, and then jump up and do that quick little change that we've done a few times in the songs. That E flat to C, and then the F. Slide that down, and then grab the F an octave lower. That's was the first chord in the chorus. So we have this. All right, that is about it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.